Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Campus podcast. We're gathered around the fire today. Hello, Clay. How are you?
Hi, I'm doing great.
Awesome. I'm happy to hear it. We are back today with a topic of discussion that I would like to bring to the table, if that's okay with you.
Absolutely.
So, I've been thinking for a little bit about adaptations of stuff. This was actually brought up when a few days ago, technically it was a few days ago, I
Yeah.
introduced Clay to the movie Sucker Punch because we briefly brought it up in one of our previous podcasts. And
Yeah.
Clay had mentioned he hadn't seen it, so I thought it would be a cool idea to get him to watch the movie so I can see what he thinks. And it sort of stemmed from there, to be honest, because I was watching the movie and I was looking at all of the specific parts of the movie that involved the action sequences, things like that. And my brain was just looking, going, this would have made such a good video game. And that's sort of where this podcast has stemmed from, which is we wish we had this instead of that. So we're going to be discussing some adaptations from books, movies, and games that we wish we had instead of what is currently in those categories that haven't done very well or we personally don't like. So, Clay, would you like to kick off for us with one of the book adaptations?
Absolutely. We're here to be designated haters today,
Yes, these are all our personal opinions, as always.
or the internet's opinion. Sometimes the internet also feels the same way as us. Uh, Here's a deep cut, but for my worst book adaptation, it's Mega Man 2 Worlds of Power.
Okay. Is this like an
Uh,
old book or.
yeah, it was they came out in the 1990s. So Nintendo, being the juggernaut in the 90s, in the late 80s to early 90s that it was, teamed up with Scholastic, which is like a book publisher. I don't know if you have that in the UK.
Not one I'm aware of, I don't think.
So in like North America, or at least in Canada, Scholastic is huge. Like every time during the school year, there would be a book fair that would come in where they'd have like a bunch of books lined up in the library that you could buy, and it was a big deal. You get like they were all cheap, and it was so much fun. Got me into reading like Goosebumps and stuff like that by R.L. Stein. Uh, but then they came out with Nintendo decided they're like, well, we got to make some book adaptations of some of like some really popular games. Well, some games were really were okay as adaptations. So there was like Legend of Zelda, like there was a lot of weird ones, like Wizards and Warriors, Bionic Commando, Castlevania. They all had some of these, and with varying degrees of good etude.
Okay.
And then you get Mega Man 2. Do you know the plot of Mega Man 2?
Um, is that the one where they bring Zero into it? That's the only character. I mean, I only vaguely know Mega Man. Mega Man?
No,
Yeah, Mega Man and
absolutely.
Zero from things like Project X Zone or Marvel vs. Capcom 3.
Fair enough. Love Marvel vs. Capcom 3.
Very good
Uh,
game.
it's so good. Uh, Fun fact, that means you do know the entire plot of Mega Man 2 because there really isn't one.
Oh my
It's an
gosh,
early
okay.
it's a really early game where the only thing you do is at the start screen, you basically select one of the robot masters, you beat him, get his power up, use it to beat the other robot masters, continue your way through this, then you beat Dr. Wily. I'm almost certain there is like little to no dialogue in the entirety of Mega Man 2. So there isn't a plot, and the book is just kind of riffing itself like as best as it can to try and make up a plot, and it's not very
Okay.
good.
Oh.
It's weird, it's stilted. It's a Scholastic book, so it's actually made for like like young children, like younger grades, primary school kind of.
Hmm.
Um, so it's like it's not good. It's weird. I remember like the main thing they described is so at the start screen, like you pick the Robot Masters and they're behind like these little shutter doors kind of thing. And then at one point it describes Mega Man in a room with 9 doors or more like hatches. And I'm like, that's a weird way to describe that. Wouldn't you just call them hatches instead of calling them doors? No, wait, they're hatches.
Oh,
It,
okay.
it's just written so weirdly, which is why I would love the book to be entirely replaced with a Mega Man 2 Choose Your Own Adventure book. I think the book would be really good if you opened it and the entire thing was, you know how those Choose Your Own Adventure books, like, does Mega Man go and fight Guts Man? Go to
Yeah,
page
it's just
30.
yeah. You could turn like you say like the one with the hatch is just like which hatch does he choose, and you could be like hatch number 2. Turn to page.
Yep. And then it's like, okay, you enter Flyman's room. Do you have this item? Turn to page this. If you don't, turn to this page. And the book would honestly get extremely large because you'd have to account for, can they just, is there only one way to win the entire book, or do you just lose? But I think it'd be a lot of fun, and keeping in line with like, oh, it's made for like younger kids. A Mega Man Choose Your Own Adventure book is my thing to replace Mega Man 2 Worlds of Power.
Damn. I
But what
mean,
about you?
yeah, I mean, like very much like keeping in theme with yours. Like you're not necessarily replacing it; you're improving on what already exists.
Yeah. Well, because I was like, I don't know, like, what needs a book adaptation that I don't think the medium has already tried. I'm like, well, they tried to make a book adaptation of this, and it was not great. Well, let's make it better.
Well, they could have made it into like a board game.
That, there's definitely a Mega Man board game, right?
Mm-hmm.
I am looking now. The power of the internet courses through me. There was one that came out in 2016, which players control both their characters and Dr. Wily's forces. Interesting. I have no idea if it's good.
But
But the
one
box is a
exists.
giant NES cartridge, so that's kind of neat.
That is quite neat, actually.
Uh, but what about you? What's a book adaptation you wish was scrubbed from the face of the earth?
Okay, yeah, I'll start with the one because mine's are a bit. Yours obviously has flown really well, whereas mine are like different. Um, I'll start with the one I would like scrubbed from the face of the earth, and while I personally haven't read it, the information that I know about it, and from watching the movie, I feel like I would be with a popular opinion here. Um, so well, technically this is more of the movie side of it because it was a book adaptation that was turned into a movie. Um, Aragon. I know
Yeah.
lots of people really loved the book, but it wasn't very well received um, as a movie. I mean, my brother, when he was a lot younger, he loved the movie, so I was sort of force fed it quite a lot when we were growing up because he'd want to watch this movie, right? Um, and like as movies go, because I didn't know a lot about the original story based off the books, it was like, it was very bland. But when I sort of looked into it a bit more about like why people didn't like it, and they were describing things that happened in the books that don't take place in the movie at all, or certain sections that were completely cut, I was like, oh, okay, I'm totally seeing why people didn't like this movie came out. Ooh, okay. So yeah, for the sake of the overall masses of people, I think I would choose to erase the movie version of the book Aragon from the face of the earth, and a book I'd love to be a movie or TV series, but I put that to be honest, I personally don't think it will happen, even though it has been teased for quite a while. Skullduggery Pleasant.
I think I have heard of this.
Yeah, so I've been reading these books since I was 14 years old. The book series is still going. It was originally supposed to be 9 books, and then the author took sort of like a what we assumed was completely away from it to do another series, and they did a trilogy book series, but then they came back to it. So the books are still going, which is crazy to think about, considering how old I am. So the books are still going. Half of my life, oh my god. But there's always been this like hushed whisper of like, will it become a movie? Will it become a TV show? It has everything you need, but people are very much like, it has to follow the books. The author actually used to be like a script writer for movies. So we like people that read the books, and myself included, were like, he'd very much want to be a part of the actual producing of the movie or TV show, depending on what it was to become, to make sure it was an accurate representation of what he created in his books, which is fair enough. And then there were lots of rumors of people had taken it on, then it was dropped, then somebody else took it on, and then it was dropped. So, I mean, I don't think it's ever actually going to come to fruition because...
Yeah, it's like in development hell, basically.
Yeah, I think it's a combination of... It's too big for a company to take on, and I think the author would make it very difficult for them to go against the grain of what the book stands for, which the fans obviously will stand behind as well. So, as much as I would love this book to become a movie or TV series, I don't think it's probably going to happen. At least not in my lifetime, anyway.
But if you had the power, you would will it.
If I had the power, I would eradicate the movie of Aragon for those people, and then rejoice with my fans of Skullduggery Pleasant at least a movie or a TV series of the first book.
I think that's reasonable. Because I'm an overachiever, I also wrote my favorite adaptation of something, just because I wanted to talk about it.
Mm-hmm. What are we discussing here? Another book adaptation?
Yeah, but the best book adaptation.
The best one. Okay, yeah, go hit me with it.
It's a bold take. The Elden Ring manga.
Oh, okay. To be honest, I didn't even know that there was an Elden Ring manga.
Entirely reasonable, because it's nothing but a gag manga. The entire thing. It is nothing but jokes, but it is the art is so good and looks so clean. You're like, wow, I bet this is like a very intense book talking about the deep lore. No, at one point he's got like the 2 Estus flasks stuck to his butt, and that's a bit. Because his pants don't have pockets. It's just that's it. It's such a good joke.
What did he stick them on his butt with, though?
He was unconscious. Someone else is trying to give them to him. He's like, I don't know how I'd leave this with him. So she just suctioned them to his butt. It's terrible.
Okay.
It's so bad. Yeah, I just think everyone please read the Elden Ring manga. Available at your local bookstore. Or probably not. You probably have to order it. Talk to your local bookstore. They can order things.
They can order things for you.
Yes. That's my life message of the day. Order things from your local bookstore. They need it. They'll appreciate it. You'll get what you want.
Oh my god!
I think that brings us to like game adaptations, then, eh?
Mm-hmm. That were of movies or books.
Yeah. All right. I want to scrub from the face of the earth Street Fighter the movie, the game.
Wait, hang on a minute. They did a game of the movie?
Yeah, it's really bad.
Street Fighter 4 is a thing, right?
Well, so this was like around Street Fighter 2, but it's so bad. Okay, so it was around Street Fighter 2. Street Fighter was really popular. They did like, I gotta make a game, or sorry, gotta make a movie, and they made what is essentially just like a beloved dumpster fire. Raul Julia, given out his greatest performance as M. Bison. If you just look up M. Bison lines from that movie, you'll probably have a good time. That guy is killing it, and he did that entirely because his kid loves Street Fighter.
Oh my god! So he's just having a good time just because he could.
Yes, it's insane. But because every movie in like the 80s and 90s needs a game tie-in, Street Fighter the movie got an arcade game. And you're like, did they just release Street Fighter 2 as an arcade game and just pasted the movie on it? No, no, no. Mortal Kombat-esque, they had like real life actors pose for the game so that they could like take stills of them and animate them like Mortal Kombat 1 and 2, where it's like live actors like converted to sprites and with still animations.
Oh, that sounds awful.
Oh, it is. It is. And the best part about it is like the game's just not good.
Oh
Like
no.
the game plays terribly, like it's balanced badly. I have actually no clue if it was made by Capcom or if it was like chewed out to somebody else to make it. But no, they made a fighting game based on a movie based on a fighting game, and the game is bad. To clarify, I would like to keep Street Fighter 2 the movie in the world. It's a good movie. I love that movie so much. I want the game based on the movie based on the game to be erased.
That just blows my mind. The game based on the movie that's based on a game.
It feels like a bit to say, right? Where you just go like, "Oh, the movie based on the game, based on the book, based on the TV series, based on another game."
Oh
No,
god.
it was actually a game based on a movie based on a game. It's terrible. I
Wow.
would like to replace it with a game based on Stephen King's The Dark Tower series. Uh,
Oh, well, that movie look, that movie had potential.
yep, and I think
And me and my dad still quote it to this day. Matthew McConaughey, stop breathing. Literally, if I could walk past someone that was annoying me and be like, just stop breathing. Oh,
right,
God, I'd love it.
but I think it'd be a fun game, but not as like a first person shooter or anything like that. It would either be like an adventure game, kind of like early point and click adventures, or
To be honest, like I said, I only have the movie knowledge to go on. I could see it as like almost like an Elden Ring style thing where like you have like a main objective to go to, which is the tower, but there's lots of enemies in your way, so you like go around sort of this like large area, like trying to like increase your strength and upgrade your weapon, that kind of thing, learn new abilities to be able to go and take out Matthew McConaughey's character.
just we're going to kill Matthew McConaughey.
And they have
really.
and they have to have CGI versions of Idris Elba and Matthew McConaughey in the movie.
Oh my god.
Yes, tie it into the movie.
See, like I imagined it as like an adventure game where it's like you don't really like level up or power up, but like because a lot of the books is like the titular gunslinger like goes around in the second book, like drawing of three, finds like gets two companions or three companions, I guess total, and like they have to go to the Dark Tower. They got to meet their goals, and like there's a lot of like character development, and I feel like an adventure game kind of works for it, where you solve like puzzles, like Monkey Island-esque puzzle stuff.
Yeah, that could work.
Maybe not like as ridiculous as make sure this goat hits you at the exact point in time so you go over this like no. But like find items, like solve quests. Like
that could still work with my Elden Ring idea though. You could have it co-op.
Oh, that would be fun actually. Co-oping the Dark Tower sounds
Co-oping
fun.
the Dark Tower.
The Dark Tower series I think would be a fun game adaptation. I think it would either go really well or I'd have to add it to my list as a game I'd like erased from existence.
Yeah, it could go so well or so bad.
Yes, exactly.
So I would probably, so I'm gonna start with a game based on a movie. I'm only gonna be able to specifically talk about the one I've played. I don't know about the one that's come out recently, how well that sort of ties into the movie world, but the first Avatar game that came out when the first Avatar came out 84 years ago
Well, you got to specify which Avatar.
The first one that came out in 2010? Was it 2010?
Oh, The Last Airbender? Ah, I love that movie.
No, the blue one. The blue
That's what I mean.
8-foot.
Maybe there should in fact be not many series called Avatar.
No, well, if you say Avatar, you have to say The Last Airbender is like the whole thing. You can't just say Avatar. If you just say Avatar, you're talking about the blue things.
About the blue things.
The blue things. Avatar.
The Na'vi?
Avatar. The blue things.
Please, they're called the Na'vi. Respect the lore.
Oh my gosh. So yeah, the first game, because I watched the movie, and then I ended up, I can't remember if someone got me the game for Christmas or I got the game myself for Christmas. But it's not great. It's so like linear, considering they make the world feel so like open. And it basically just follows like the most basic formula of just like, you're a human that decides to join the Na'vi, or you're a human that stays as a human and kills the Na'vi. There's no in between. There's no sort of like exploration of the world you're in. You can get like the ekrans and things like that, but it's not a case of like, now I can travel and explore. It's just like, nope, you get the ekran, you fly down this tube, and then you're back on your feet with a gun, soldier. And you're like, well, that was pointless. What was the point of me getting the ekran? To fly down one fucking 15-minute tunnel? In a straight line? Hello? There was like nothing around me. I couldn't look anywhere. I was just fuming. So yeah, as I say, I don't know about the new game. Is it Frontiers? Is it Frontiers of Pandora or something like that? I don't know about the new game.
Yeah.
I've seen reviews on Steam being fairly mixed at the moment, so I haven't sort of like picked it up myself. I'm sort of waiting to see if it balances itself out or not, because there's always teething problems. But that's supposed to be more of like what I think people wanted from the Avatar games, which was like, here's your character, here's the open world, off you go and explore, and collect your ikran and travel around and go and do missions and then take out the humans, blah 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 blah. So it didn't really hit what people wanted from the movie, personally. Yeah. So I would quite see. I don't think people would miss if that game was just like Thanos snapped out of existence. To jump back to what started this whole podcast idea off, though, Sucker Punch would make a great game adaptation of the movie because of all the different segments that you go into for the fighting. You've got the first section where you're in like the old like Japanese shrine with the giant samurai soldiers. You've got the World War II scenario in like Paris. You've got the train. You've got the old like medieval castle. There's so many different genres in there that you could do. You could make it so like, I don't know. I feel like you could have it that there's like, it could be a combination of like Dynasty Warriors meets something like Sekiro. When you take on like a stronger enemy, it would go into like a Sekiro thing where it's just like it's one-on-one. They're a really tough enemy to beat, and it's like down to your skills with the weapons that you have. You could technically go co-op because you have the other girls with you. You could have someone play Sweet Pea and Rocket and they, tag in and out. You could technically play all of those characters and you could switch between them if you wanted to. Tag in and out of the different characters if you wanted to try different characters. Or it could make you play segments of each area as the characters. So you could also have sequences where you're Amber and she's in the giant mecha rabbit, or on the plane during the like the medieval one being chased by the dragon. So yeah. But then the idea is like outside of that, turn it into like a survival like escape room style thing where it's just like you're gathering the stuff, you're having to remain undetected, you've got to stay out of suspicion, that kind of thing. Basically trying to put as much fucking stuff into it as possible. If El Shaddai can do it, someone else can. Cram as much different stars of gameplay as you possibly can into the game, I'm sure it'll be fine.
Fair.
I'd totally give it a try.
I think it's really good. You could also like split the game up into like two sections. You could have all of the like fantasy like sections, like the Paris, the samurai, like all those ones.
Mhm.
But then you could also have a section of the game that's like a stealth quest section
Yeah.
between each of those sections, kind of, like plotting everything out, getting all the items you need, planning,
Mm-hmm.
and then like in between you have your action sections. Like I think it'd be a really cool game.
It's never going to happen though, but hey ho, we can dream.
Yeah. If we had infinite power and money, we could do this.
We totally could. We totally could.
Once again, I have, just to sweeten it up, the best game adaptation of a Booker TV show.
Okay. Yep.
I have two here because I think both are equal on their own merits.
Mm-hmm.
One is definitely everyone's gonna be like, "Yep, yeah, absolutely," and the other one's like, "Oh yeah, that I forgot it was a book series." First one, The Witcher.
Mm-hmm.
The Witcher series of games, like absolutely, everyone's gonna be like, "Yep, those are great games adaptations of books."
Yep.
It's fantastic. And then the Metro series.
Uh-huh.
I like those. I like those games a lot. I would pick Metro over Witcher, but that's because I like post-apocalyptic stuff. But like those are two game adaptations of books that I think are super good, and give me hope that we will once again get more good game adaptations of books, please.
Yeah, because like you say, that's the thing. Like if uh, the right people come along and they care about the thing that they're given, whether it be a movie license or the license to a book or a game to turn it into one of the other ones. If it's the right type of person and they care enough about it, they will put love and attention to detail into it and it will come out well. It's been proven.
Yeah.
It can be done. It's just not always necessarily the best sort of thing all the time.
It's a risk, especially with like studios and like executives not wanting to take those kind of risks anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Like, who knows if another Witcher series will ever come? A Witcher series will come out because the author sold the rights to a studio for like a very low amount of money.
Yeah.
Eh,
Well, I
but
mean
who
that
knows?
and like sticking with Witcher, Netflix might not be able to make another season of The Witcher after this new one comes out because
People love
you're
Henry Cavill.
the person that helped bring the character to life is no longer playing that character because he wanted it to be as close to the books as possible, which, as you can prove with the game adaptations, if you do it right, it fucking works and people love it. If you veer off that path, then you're going to upset somebody, and ultimately, the more people you upset, the more it's going to drop overall.
Exactly. Also, just a note on that, like Henry Cavill being a huge nerd is great. I love that. I love how big of a nerd Henry Cavill is.
Yeah, well, he's currently working on the Warhammer 40k thing, isn't he? So he's fine.
It, he's in his lane. He's
He-
happy. He's doing his thing.
He's happy. He's doing his thing. He's doing that. He's also doing. He's also in the new Highlander movie that's coming out. So yeah, he's having a whale
Wait,
of a time.
wait. They're making a new Highlander?
Yeah.
I did not know that. I'm super jazzed. I love Highlander. There can only be one.
Yeah, I had to. My dad watched the original, so when I found out that they were very much like looking at being in production for it, and I think it's pretty much mentioned now that Henry Cavill's going to be the main lead. It's just like, hey, Dad, you're going to get another Highlander movie, and he's like, nice.
Nice. Oh,
So,
that sounds rad. I'm excited for that. Hell
yeah,
yeah.
see,
More movies about guys cutting heads off other guys.
exactly. Like you say,
It's what we need.
there can be only one.
Exactly. All right, and that brings us to the final category.
Yep.
Movie and TV show adaptations. I would like scrubbed from the face of the earth.
Mm-hmm.
Paul W.S. Anderson's movie featuring his wife, Mila Jovovich, is Monster Hunter.
Oh, God. No, yep. I mean, to be honest, you could have just said Monster Hunter and I would have been like, yes! Yes! I agree.
I just always love bringing up that Paul W.S. Anderson, he's done like the Resident Evil movies, which like varying degrees of like not the great movies, but like enjoyable times kind of deal. It's just I gotta appreciate a guy who continuously makes movies and just does, you know what? You know who the lead is? My wife. And he just keeps doing it. And I'm like, all right, I respect it, I guess.
He just loves his wife, you know?
He loves working with his wife. And I assume his wife loves working with him.
That's not the issue we have here. We have an issue with the adaptation that movie takes compared to the games, which is fucking diabolical.
Right? It's so...
Like, who in their right mind was just like, you know what this type of game needs, which is basically about like people traveling to unexplored lands, searching for new civilizations, meeting and joining with them and forming communities and helping them to keep down populations of animals that could become very dangerous to their lives. No, you know what this needs? It needs an army star and a sandstorm and them being teleported to another fucking planet or something.
I do love my military isekais.
I was like, sure, that's what this needs. Yes. Because that makes everything make sense.
The Monster Hunter movie would have been infinitely improved if Mila Jovovich was a hunting horn user. That's my bold claim about this movie. Because then the movie would immediately become so silly because Mila Jovovich is like swinging a giant saxophone around. Just going like, all right, dootin' time.
No, what would have made this movie better is if her and her little party were already in the universe of Monster Hunter and they were on a scouting mission.
Anything. Just anything.
It's just like oh yeah, we've been tasked to go to this area, but first we have to cross this desert because beyond the desert is an area of unexplored, you know, because that's how all the Monster Hunter games start. They're just exploring to new horizons and then they come across this monster that's trying to kill them, so they have to kill it to defend themselves, and then they start to learn more about it and then they'll carry on the exploration. Why people don't think that would be an interesting movie idea still, because that's what Monster Hunter is, I don't fucking know.
Oh, it's because they're cowards. I feel like a lot of times when these things happen, it's just like they just don't trust us as like viewers to like believe things sometimes. It's like, what do you mean there's a world full of monsters? That's crazy. What do you mean people hunt the monsters? That's nuts. And I'm like, I don't know, man. Harry Potter was popular. They wave sticks around and stuff fly.
Yeah, they say Wingardium Leviosa. What kind of moron wants to say that every time they want to make something float?
Okay, Harry Potter bit that always bugged me. They have a big fancy word to make a like feather fly, but he just stands over the broom and says up. And the broom just comes up and I'm like, so you don't have to say Latin to things. You could just say, get up here, and the rock is gonna fly. I'm almost certain. I think they're just being hoity-toity about it.
I think the idea was that the brooms are sentient.
Okay, well then that brings up another issue of you're riding a sentient being. And you also sweep the floor with it.
Because the thing is, do you not remember in the same sequence, Hermione's standing there going, up, up, and he's just falling around on the floor going, make me, bitch, make me.
I just, if they're living things, we bring into a whole issue of like, does that mean every time we see a magical like utensil floating around, like they're sentient?
I think it's only I think it's just brooms. I think it's just because especially the brooms that they ride are made with magical items, whereas if you make a freaking fork float, but it's just a fork. It's the same as a wand. Wands are technically sentient because they choose the owner and they are made from magical items. Wow, we are getting into an argument about Harry Potter here.
Yeah, we're just completely off topic, going like, you know what, Joanne, I've got some problems with your magical world. I want to discuss with you. Actually, I don't want to talk to you at all, Joanne. Go away.
Yeah. Let's
Get
discuss
out of
Harry
here.
Potter instead.
Yeah. But yeah, no. Mila Jovovich is Monster Hunter. I want scrubbed from the earth. I want it replaced with a Red Dead Redemption TV show or movie.
Ah,
I am open
yes.
to either. I think westerns are kind of like not a lost art, but like a thing we don't do anymore. We
Well,
don't make western
Yellowstone's
movies and
quite
TV shows.
popular, isn't it?
It is, and that's like one of my points. Like Yellowstone's really popular, but we don't make them en masse anymore, and we don't try things out nearly as much. So like we don't do a lot of westerns. I think Red Dead Redemption would go really well, but it does come down to, do we follow the games verbatim,
Hmm.
or do we do a completely original story following characters from like Red Dead Redemption? Like the first one being a revenge story is pretty good. Like the second one having being a heist movie would be kind of great.
Hmm.
Like I'm open to either. I just think I'd like some more westerns in the world. We don't get enough westerns anymore, and Red Dead Redemption is just sitting there going like, people love me.
Yeah.
We had
I'm,
horse testicle physics, and people loved us.
I mean, there are actually actors that have turned around and said that they would like play characters from the games as like an show adaptation. But I don't know. I think with something like that, because of the world that it's in, I think it would be safer to make it based in the universe, but centered around another character that may know or have some relation to in-game characters. Then maybe have them cameo every now and again
Fair.
to
You
keep
know
to
what?
keep that alive. But to have an original character would probably be the safest thing to do.
You know what you do? You just bamboozle everyone, and you make the show. You call it Red Dead, and that's the show's name. And you make it based on Red Dead Revolver, the game that came out before Red Dead Redemption, the game no one thinks about ever. It was an okay game. It was also made by Rockstar, but it was a like just like a action bounty hunter, your third person shooter. Like it's not anything like Red Dead Redemption in the slightest, other than you're in the West and you got a gun. Go off, King. But no, yeah,
I think that they could probably do multiple stories. To be honest.
you absolutely could. You could do anything. You could do a series that goes between two different time periods. I don't know, people looking into the past trying to find, I don't know, the heist loot that some bandits buried, and then you go back to it way back when, and you follow people who are hunting it, and I don't know, you could do so much.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many
You could.
cool things you could do, and I just think if we just erased Mila Jovovich and Paul W.S. Anderson's magnum opus Monster Hunter, um, the world wouldn't suffer. That's all.
I mean, I'd just be happy with that being erased. You wouldn't have to replace it with anything for me, to be honest.
The world somehow just got better with the movie role plays.
Yeah, just
You didn't fill it with anything.
Yeah, you didn't need to fill it with anything. The world just got a little brighter today.
You know what? I feel like people also don't think about this movie because it came out like 2019, 2020, mid-pandemic, so like nobody was thinking about it.
I don't. Yeah, people were too busy just not caring about stuff to care.
People were like too busy playing Animal Crossing New Horizons to care about Mila Jovovich's Monster Hunter.
Yeah.
But what about you? What TV show or movie do you want scrubbed from the face of the earth?
Well, I mean, as soon as I say it, it's going to be completely obvious because I've mentioned it before, so you already know. And people who have paid attention to the podcast episodes will know as soon as I say it. The Uncharted movies.
What?
Or movie. They keep talking about another one, and if they make another one, my god, do we have problems.
They're making an Uncharted 2 movie? That'd be insane.
Please, dear God, don't. it just, it just, it didn't need to be made. It's just, every character they chose to be the characters was just not the right choice. I
What
just,
do you mean? You don't like Marky Mark as Victor Sullivan? He
no,
definitely had.
I don't.
He was a bad choice for that, in my
He
opinion.
was a bad choice. Also, Peter Parker is not a good choice for fucking Nathan Drake. Okay? Because unfortunately, Tom Holland only has one range, and that's Peter Parker.
No, he has a more range, but he doesn't have Uncharted's Nathan Drake kind of suave confidence and sarcasm.
No, he
Like
doesn't.
he doesn't have that, and that's and Tom. I'm sorry. Like I like you as an actor. I like you in a lot of things. I think you're a swell fella. You just don't have this, and that's not on you. That's just how people are, man. Keep
I
up the good work,
just,
Tom
I
Holland.
just, yeah, it's just, ugh. People making stupid choices for characters is just dumb. And the person that played Chloe as well. No. No. And, hello, where's Elena?
We're
People!
running out of. Movie was bloated already. We couldn't do it. How long was that movie?
Oh, I don't even want to know, because you know another thing that annoyed me with that movie? Because if they were talking about it being in some kind of timeline, they fucked that over by having the plane sequence from Uncharted 3 in the movie.
But people love the plane sequence.
No, the best sequence is the train.
Well, that's for the second movie. We're getting the train in Uncharted 2. This time they're serious.
Oh my god. Oh yeah, I just remember watching the plane sequence and my parents were like, "Oh, what's this?" And I was like, "Garbage, we're not watching it." And he was just my dad was like, "What do you mean garbage?" And I was like, "It's Uncharted." And he goes, "Isn't that game you like?" And I was just like, "Yes, but I don't like this garbage on the screen right now." Everybody knows my
Yeah.
opinions on this. If you want to watch what the movies could have been, watch Nathan Fillion's fan-made thing. Because Nathan Fillion just embodies everything that Nathan Drake was. He had the suave, he just had the overall way of how he was supposed to be. His name is fucking Nathan as well. It's like it's written in the stars. Who cares if we just have old Nathan Drake when old Nathan Drake obviously works, you know?
Yeah.
I rest my case. You know what? After the podcast, I might have to go and rewatch the fan-made one. Just
I thought you were gonna say like just to fuel spite, you were gonna go watch the actual Uncharted.
Oh
movie.
god,
Like,
no! I'm not going to punish myself.
I hated it so much I have to watch it again just to fuel the hate within me.
No, I'm gonna make myself feel better and watch the fan-made one, so I can just forget about things for a while and be like, "This could have been so good."
This could have been us.
Speaking of things that could be so good, now, I don't know, I feel like this would probably work better as a TV series. Actually, it's weird though, because one of them would work better as a TV series, and one would work better as a movie. But
Okay.
the reason I put them both together is because they're basically sort of the same thing, it's just different genres. And you're gonna be like, oh, as soon as I say it, Persona or Metaphor Fantasio?
Well, okay, like Persona 1?
So, no, to be honest, I like just the idea of what Persona is as a TV show. So, let's just, for example, say Persona 5, but this is as an example, would be better as a TV show than a movie. So, you've got more time to fit in everything that happens. So, not necessarily just the high octane sequences in the palaces and in Mementos. You've got all the stuff that happens like around it as well. So them at school and all the drama that takes place around that could be explored better in a TV series.
Like, are you thinking like a live action TV series?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Okay, I was gonna say, like, I thought there was an animation for Persona
No,
5.
no. What movie is in like people movies? Because obviously the
Gotcha.
Uncharted was real people. So...
You're telling me Hatsune Miku's not real? I just saw Hatsune Miku, the Miku who can't sing. It's not a real movie? Those aren't real people?
No,
I felt real feelings. Oh my god. I need to lie down. Anime's not real. You can't tell me this, Meg.
And then I'd probably say Metaphor ReFantasium might be better as like movies instead of a series. I suppose it could work as a series too. But out of the two formulas, you could get away with probably doing Metaphor as a movie or a couple of movies.
I think I haven't played enough of Metaphor to have a solid opinion on it, but it does feel like, a fantasy like epic makes sense for it as a movie.
So yeah, it's just the overall ideas of what they are and because there's a lot like to explore with both of them. Like I said, you could really like delve into like there's a lot of like with the Metaphor one specifically, there's a lot of world building you could do. And I think the more practical stuff you could do rather than like CGI stuff would help that as well. And obviously Persona, I imagine you'd have this, especially with things like the Mementos sides of it and going to the palaces, you'd have to have like more sets and stuff. But I think if they could try and stick to having more practical stuff, that would help.
I don't know. I think Persona 4 would be a really great like murder mystery TV show.
Like
Scooby-Doo, Scooby-Doo gang kind of.
Yeah, trying to figure out who's killing people. Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
So, but then like at the same, but like, and it would appeal to obviously like like the young adult audience of like it's a group of kids and they're like hanging out and stuff like that, and then all the crazy stuff starts happening, and then they have to work together, and it'd be cool. I think that could totally work. So. That and I mean, come on, they'd never be able to get away with doing Persona 3, which is why I haven't mentioned Persona 3.
What do you mean? A bunch of teens shooting themselves in the head would be a great TV show. They just call it Persona 3 Reasons Why. They call it Persona 3 Reasons Why.
Oh my grace. I still haven't got over the fact that Yukari just points the gun at her face and just pulls the trigger. I'm like, no wonder you couldn't freaking, summon your persona for a while if that is your method of summoning your persona. Not that Akihiko's much better. He just, like, tilts it down over one eyeball, and I was just like, is anyone going to do it under their chin? Because that's the only other way I was like, I do it on one side of the head, Junpei does it on the other side, but I was just like, someone's going to have to do it under the chin, right? Right? No? Oh, okay.
No, the dog just gets a 12 gauge underneath its jaw and just goes bark.
So
the dog's the most metal.
So yeah, I think that there's a lot of potential with them to be able to make stuff, and there's the thing of like you could make it like completely new. You could just adapt one of the games, or you could set it in the same universe. Especially with the Persona stuff, there's lots of potential with the Persona stuff because of how like unique the idea is that you could make lots of stuff with those. So I would like that as a possibility, and then we just get a giant rubber and just erase Tom Holland's Uncharted from the face of the earth.
Fair. I think that's reasonable. Goodbye, Tom.
Go back to Spider-Man, Tom.
You're doing great, buddy.
You're doing great, buddy.
And just again to lighten the mood, best adaptation, and it's completely subjective. I think if it's been here this long, it has to be at least somewhat good. Pokemon, a game series that is just a franchise juggernaut at this point.
Yeah, there's just way too much of that around.
and again, the quality of like the movies varies widely, but when it's good, they're very good. When they're bad, they're very bad.
Very bad.
And the TV show also is just probably helped by a hilarious ass dub. It just holds a special place in probably way too many people's hearts. And I'm like, that's a franchise that's like, hey, a game adaptation of a turn-based monster catching simulator shouldn't have a TV and movie franchise so strong, and yet here it is 29 years later.
It is crazy to think that, I mean, like, Isn't the person that plays Ash like only just technically like retired from the role or something, or am I getting that
Yeah.
wrong? Or
Uh, there have been two voice actors who played Ash. Uh, over the course of it. I think they finally retired Ash. Like Ash is no longer the main character of the show anymore. Only took them 25 years to do that.
I was about to say, because wouldn't he technically be like in his 30s now?
No, he's perpetually 10.
I was
The
about to
next
say
time we
because
see him, he will be 11.
Oh my god.
Actually, he never does they never specify his age, but I remember in, I believe, the third Pokemon movie, there's like a little short at the start before the movie plays, and the short is like it's Ash's freaking birthday.
Hmm.
So like Ash technically was 11 by, and that, if that's an accurate thing, Ash turned 11 by the third movie, and there's like what, 50 movies? He's got to be like 40 now.
I was about to say, yeah. Like, he should be way older than he looks. I mean,
Ash ages phenomenally.
gonna say, I mean, bloody hell, like, I know that Yugi technically didn't age, like, a lot physically, but by the end of, like, you know, the show at the start of, like, Yu-Gi-Oh! GX, he looked like Yami, because he'd actually grown up a bit.
It is always up in the air with me if that, like, is that supposed to be Yami? Is he just still here? Does GX happen like at a weird point in the
Oh,
timeline?
no, like, yeah, Atem's gone.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, I know he's gone at the end of the show, but it always feels weirdly up in the air to me if like if it's supposed if GX is supposed to happen directly after Yu-Gi-Oh, or if like the idea is because his voice also sounds very much like Atem. If the end of that show, if the start of GX actually happens like midway through Yu-Gi-Oh, I don't know.
Well, I mean,
I
the last movie that they did for Yu-Gi-Oh! Literally takes place like a year or 2 years after what happens at the end of the series, and Atem's gone. Like, Yuki's just been carrying on his life, and so is everybody else. And the stubborn one here is Kaiba, who's trying to, like, somehow travel through time or something to bring him back so he can fight him or something.
Sometimes you need to travel back in time so you can play cards with your boyfriend.
And it's just like, and even Yugi at that point is just like, he's gone, Kaiba. Just let it go, man. Please.
And Kaiba just goes, "Not with my money. I can go back in time and then duel him, and then I'm stuck in Egypt." Damn, I guess.
It's
He
like,
did make
oh
a
my-
one-way time machine to do this, by the way.
Yeah,
Like,
oh god.
because the time machine required him to like throw himself at the Earth in like a little pod thing, and I'm like, okay, he traveled back to ancient Egypt. The time travel pod pillar is not there anymore. And you're broke. I don't know, Kaiba. I don't know what you're doing, man.
It made no sense. Yeah.
In the best ways.
Yeah. But I think that's it. I think we have discussed what we wish we had instead of what we have currently. Sometimes it's nice to wish for better things, whether we get them or not.
Yes, absolutely. If our lists were true, climate change would have been reversed. Universal health care would be everywhere. Car insurance would be very cheap.
Things
And
things
housing
would just be
prices-
very. I'm gonna say things would just be very reasonable overall.
yeah.
There wouldn't be a poverty line. Everyone would be, you know, very much like on par with
There would be
each
no
other.
there would be no poverty line. There'd be a line to go see Red Dead Redemption in theaters.
Yeah, the only queuing done is for queuing for things we love.
Exactly. We fixed the planet.
We fixed the planet.
Hooray!
But please do let us know any of your we wish we had this instead of that scenarios, whether that be for books, movies, games, or maybe for other stuff as well. Do let us know if there is anything like that that you would like to let us know about, considering we've shared our own. It'd be interesting to hear what everybody else has opinions. And with
Yeah.
that, it's time for us to finish up by the campfire. Until next time, thank you for joining, Clay, as always.
Oh, had a blast.
And we will see you all again in the future. Take care, everybody. Stay safe.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.